I've preached than a lot of Royal House Chapel pastors in the whole Volta region before. I've made a tour of over 3 months before, demonizing the African belief system. But I tell you, it is the best way to go. We pour recognizing those who lived here before us. So when we talk about eternity, for instance, the traditional way of understanding eternity is the continuation of generation from one to the other. That is eternity. Eternity cannot be after you are dead and you don't even know where you are going. That's not eternity. Eternity is my manhood and my wife's womanhood, which when the father dies, he has grandchildren because we are continuing from where he has stopped. That is eternity. So the tradition that our ancestors and forefathers had, continuing that is what we call the culture. It is not evil. So we pour libation using either water, alcohol, or sometimes even the sun, dried sun.
Okay, so right now, when you pour libations, you pour libation for who and who?
Well, you see, there's one thing we don't understand. Those who lived here before you, they knew a lot that you don't know. So inquiring from them really helps you. If you ask an average Christian, I'll come to the point, to mention the last 5 fathers and grandfathers, they can only start telling you about Abraham and tell you about Noah, come down to Jesus Christ. But they themselves, when they take away their fathers, and sometimes 1 out of 10, their grandfathers, they don't know any other person. When I'm pouring libation, it takes time. Because I know that there was one man called Duoboy, who gave birth to Nakpain, who gave birth to Miku, Miku gave birth to Isa. Then it continues like that until I am here. I know at least there was a time where my grandfather, the great-grandfather who gave birth to the Duoboy, has to use the leg to knock a stone and it turned to flour. And then he defeated his enemies. That was when he set fire and started dancing in it as a Basari man. So I knew all these things that these people did. So we are not worshiping them. We are only recognizing the works that they have done. In terms of even pouring libation, you pour libation at the right-hand side. And then you pour to the left. That those who were our enemies, even from our family side, who you don't want them to dine with you, take this and give to them. So we don't deny any of them. We just recognize what they have come to stay here to do.
So libation, you pour it for the people or you pour it for their works. This is what I want to understand.
You pour it for the people.
For the people.
Because you don't know God. Okay. And you don't even know if God knows you.
Oh, okay. So you pour it for the people.
For the people.
Believing they are there.
Yeah, I know they are there.
You know they are there?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I know they are there.
Okay, so when you die, where will you go?
Why will I have to know where I'm going whilst I'm still alive?
You are not supposed to know.
Because I never knew where I was coming when I was there.
So you don't know where you are going?
No.
So how sure are you that your ancestors are there for you to pour libations?
I believe in reincarnation.
If you don't know where you believe in reincarnation.
Reincarnation.
That's powerful.
I believe in reincarnation.
You believe in reincarnation,
yes.
That when somebody dies,
he goes and he comes back. Even if it is not today, 5,000 years to come, he will still come back.
Okay, so
if the person is in hell or is in heaven, how is the person coming back? For instance, they consulted the spirit of Samuel. How do we call him? Samuel consulted, his spirit was consulted by Saul. Where was he when Saul called on him that he appeared? Was it in hell or in heaven? So who led him out of heaven to come and answer?
It was
Saul?
a sorcerer.
Yes, so if I'm a sorcerer and I call on somebody's spirit and the person is in heaven, who permits the person to come and speak to me?
Even the question you didn't listen. You didn't listen.
So
I'm not saying what you are saying is here or not there.
Yeah.
I'm not even saying that you are educating us.
Yeah.
So we have to ask you all the impossible questions for us to understand what you are saying.
I'm answering your
question.
question.
So I'm asking you that the question I'm asking is this. If you believe in reincarnation, it means you can be that your ancestor who knocked the stone that turns into powder.
Yes.
You can be that man.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
I understand.
So if you are your ancestor, your ancestor is dead and you believe in reincarnation, he has come back to become you. That is sitting there.
Yeah.
Who are you pouring the libation for? This is the question.
One thing is very clear, that you don't die today and tomorrow morning you are here. Because it takes time. Energy does not die. Even science proves that.
We know this. So since you don't know where you are going, and you don't know whether the person that died yesterday or all the ancestors, if you don't know where you are going, you don't know how they come back. So you can't tell whether they died and come back the next day and there's nobody there, but you are pouring libation. So who are you pouring the libation for? That's the question. You don't know where you are going. It means you don't know what happens there. And you believe in reincarnation. Do you know how it works? Do you know how many days people spend there before coming back? Can you teach us all of this?
That will be another time.
Because we want to know. If you don't know whether it's 21 days, 5 years, 10 years, how are you pouring libation for the thing you don't know?
Why I'm saying it's for another day is that it depends on the circumstance by which you leave the earth.
You tell us a bit.
Okay. As you are sitting here now, where you have lived before coming here, they also believe you are alive. Are you alive or you are not alive?
I'm here.
Yes. So they believing that you are alive, that is why you are also here. So when you sleep and you are dreaming, your spirit leaves your body. Where is it going? Sometimes it just goes to render services to those who are pouring libation, calling. Now they are not calling you grace there. They are calling you by the name they knew for you.
Which is what? Are you aware of that? Can you tell us? No, can you tell us? Can you tell us? I'm not disputing that fact too.
I understand.
Don't think I'm disputing that fact. I'm not even saying that at all.
Yeah.
But the point I'm trying to make is that if you don't know the structures there, okay, that when you die, maybe they will call me Salamatu there because I know for sure I was coming from some corner be from the north. There's some
maybe
stone
just
be
beside
inside.
maybe just beside my hometown.
No. You're watching the biggest. So sometimes you see me, I believe I am my ancestor, just like me believing that you are that man who kicked the stone for the stone to become
his
powder.
His name was Basari, so
okay. So if I can say I believe Miku sitting before me now is Basari, I can say that if I have the ability to see. Okay. So if somebody should be there pouring libation, and it's not pouring libation for the strength and the works Basari came to do, but he said, I'm pouring libation for Basari. I believe a hungry ghost will drink it because Basari, because of his strength, he will not remain there. They are always coming back, and Basari is sitting here. Basari is being libation is poured for Basari. How do we calculate this? Help us understand this.
Yeah, what I mean is just like I gave you the example. Once you are here, you are working as an energy for someone who is calling on you. So calling on you and pouring libation whilst I'm seated here or you are seated here does not mean you are pouring it for another person. Because the energy in you is bigger than what you are imagining.
So the alcohol you drink is not enough for the energy. You have to pour it on the ground.
Oh, yes.
Anyways,
you will have to.
That's your
you see,
belief. We understand.
Yeah. Invocation. You invoke. Sometimes you are there, and I want this to be very clear. You are there and there is nothing, you don't have anything, but you feel like you are the topmost. There is somebody that is invoking you somewhere. So you feel like you cannot even stay in the chair. Sometimes you are there, you have everything and you are sad. What the spirit needs, what they are saying about you, is not what the spirit deserves. It brings you down. So where I am now, the day I am happy, I should know why I am happy, even if I'm not seeing the thing, because I know the energy goes round to render service. That is why other energies also go round to render you service.
I understand.
Yes. So it's a rotational something, actually.
So you are pouring libation for Basari.
Yes.
Who is alive?
Yeah.
So when they pour that libation, who drinks it? The one living in you drinks the one on the ground.
That is the energy that gets so grown in me at particular times. And when they pour it at the wrong side of it, that is what brings you down most of the times.
So how important is this?
It is very important. If Psalm 82 tells you that, don't you know that ye are gods? What do they do to gods? Every god eats. So
that's why we are here. And we are drinking, eating and enjoying.
That is what I mean. So don't they pour the libation? You are eating. They are feeding you. That is what makes you live. That is what sees after you. That is what cares for you. Now, the person who believes in Christ and the person who believes in Nogopo, who lives long, we can attest to the fact that those who worship other deities, who their forefathers never did, at the age of 43, he's gone. 24, he's gone. There is nobody, even if they call on him, he has diverted his case.
I don't want us to go there because
that's what I mean.
I don't even, if not, they will turn into a different thing. Different thing. Somebody was born just today and the person died. Somebody can be a Muslim, somebody can be a Christian and have 100 years. Somebody can be worshipping ancestral worship and the person can also die. So we all have the day we will die and the years we will die.
Yeah.
So I disagree with this. I'm not saying you don't have your rights. By me, I don't agree. Let's get into your topic. You are watching the biggest and the largest. We are talking about ancestralship and Christianity. So first and foremost, define what ancestralship is and then define Christianity before you put the topic together.
All right. I believe ancestralship is the way of living of our ancestors, which all incubates culture and way of life. When you put all together, you get culture. But when we talk of Christianity, it's an imported culture that we all, till today, a lot of people have woken up to know that you can't dispute the fact that it's an imported vessel into our system.
That is ancestral,
ancestralship.
And then Christianity.
Yeah, the Christianity is the imported.
The imported, and the ancestralship is the origin.
Yeah, it's original. Origin of
black race.
The black race.
But you just said when we read the Old Testament, it's everything there is our culture.
That's what I mean.
So why are you saying they imported it? How? From where?
The importation.
They imported your culture from where?
From our own culture. These people, when they first came to us, they didn't bring the Bible. The first coming was not the intention to give us evangelization. They came to first survey. And when they came to survey and knew the ways to take us through, then they copied some of our culture into the white book. That is why today, God spoke to Abraham, physical. He spoke to Moses. But today, God speaks to you, but through a white book, because he doesn't have the potency to speak to you directly. He doesn't have that power. Why? Because they came to study and they made you to understand that there was a God who was speaking to this person. Let's take it for instance. Roman Catholic came for how many years? Over 700 years. The saints that they have produced, how many African saints do they have? They have none of the African saints. There's no, how do we call it? Even Princess, Saint Ayele, they don't have any Ga name, they don't have Ewe name, they don't have any Akan name. All the saints are foreign. But if you look at the tradition, before they left and brought this book, they knew that this was what they were coming to do. It was thousands of years agenda, sat in a room somewhere and then planned the way to bury out the black race and their culture.
So when they were planning, what were blacks doing?
Well, you see, when you overtrust because of how kind your heart is, sometimes before you know, a lot of things will elude you.
Can kindness make one foolish?
It can even make you weak. Not only foolish. It can make you weak.
All these things that happened, did we play any part in it? Who do we blame?
Yes, we did. We play parts. Someone said, if we were not selling out our own people, will they have bought us? But the fact is that, look at it from this angle, that you have brought me a book which is good enough to come from heaven. And in that book, you go to some part of the book and it says you can buy a human being. Who created that human being? Is it not God? Who created the buyer? Is it not God? So it's a legitimate business that the Bible is telling you to do. And this one, you have trusted that God enough.
That our ancestors, none of them could think and investigate whatever.
This is a written book in somebody's language. So now, let's take it for instance. You came to me and told me that this is heaven, this is hell. And I have no knowledge on that. And then, in front of me, there are a lot of times where they burn a lot of people to showcase how hell is practiced, how things go on in heaven. So it was a time that came when they were pointing a lot of weapons and death threats. Will you accept Christ or this happens to you? So a lot of all these things happen, and this foreign tradition we call Christianity or whatsoever was implanted on this bloodshed or kind of thing. So it was out of threat that a lot of them accepted this and made it a norm.
So if you say it was out of threat, maybe I would say because of their lives, they have to accept. But if you tell me because of trust, they became this thing.
These are just factors of them. These are just factors. If you come to me right now and you give me food and I eat, I give you food and you eat, you go somewhere, I go with you, I go somewhere, you go with me. We begin to share things together. Little will I know what is in your mind until it happens. You go to Elmina and you see what happened at the time. Because the person came as a sheep and he will be coming back as a thief. Somebody speaks to you this way. It takes a lot of knowledge to understand what that person has said. So when they came with the sheep, they were buying us. Today we sell our properties and take ticket and then we are going to them. Because he's coming back and we are meeting him in the clouds, which is the plane. But he came first at what? The sheep.
Woo!
Are you getting the point? So they spoke to us in a way that we trusted them too much.
We couldn't think.
No.
And up to now, we are not thinking.
That's why I say we are more foolish than they used to be. Because now we can read. We can read and read to the fact that Samson turned the mouth of a lion. And we still believe. We go to 31st night and we still believe. But there is a mathematical scientist over there who believes that 7 days makes a week and then 4 weeks make 1 month. 7 times 4 is 28. Yet he has 31 days in a month and he cannot think. So the hypnotism is so much that even it conquers their spirituality. The hypnotism is so much. So
why hypnotism?
The foreign culture now with the threat, any psychological
so now looking at Ghana, where how many % do you think are using this foreign culture according to you? And how many % are using the original? The original, do we still have?
Well, we still have, definitely. You see, you cannot have a counterfeit of 30 cedis note.
Can you not have original?
You don't have the original. So once you have a counterfeit of something, definitely there is original. Even if it is not much, we still have some iota of it. So in the days where they came to even attack us, the first attempt was to attack. They attacked and lost. Why? They were shooting, it wasn't penetrating. They were shooting arrows, they were shooting their gunpowders, it wasn't penetrating. They realized that we were speaking to the seas, we were speaking to the forest, we were speaking to the air. So they realized that no, if you don't take this thing out and you think you are protecting yourself, the day you die, you go to hell. That is why in the book they will tell you that those who protect their own lives, they will lose it. But those who lose their lives because of me, they will gain their lives back. I don't want to gain such life. If there is an accident now, and a pastor dies and is going to heaven, let him go. I will disappear and go home.